What is going on, everyone? I'm going to review one more MKM knife. This one is one that just came out a couple months back, designed by Voxnaes. This is the MKM ECLIPSE. Open this one up for you. This one is a flipper as well as a thumb hole opener. Like I said, I've had this one for a couple months. This is absolutely one of my favorite knives of 2023. I'll go over it a little bit and give you some of my thoughts. But just to give you the specs, the overall length is 7.5 inches with a blade length of 3.25 and the scales of 4.25. The thickness on the blade is 0.11, so it is a very slicey knife. Really thins out towards the bottom. It's got a great edge geometry. This one's on bearings. It's a liner lock. And the scales are, let me get rid of this, the scales are a black titanium with the purple accents. It does come in a good bit of variations. There's a few dark matter versions with some of the marbling on the scales. A number of different colors that you can get as the accent piece on the titanium. And I know that they actually just asked what else we'd like to see in this version, so I'm assuming they're going to be coming out with more. The price point on this right now, I believe, is around $220 to $240, depending on where you go and what type you get. The overall weight, and this is one of the reasons why I love it, is I believe 2.8 ounces or 2.9 ounces, so it is a very, very light knife. Let me give you some comparisons here. So first, the Giant Mouse Ace Sonoma, which is obviously a little bit bigger, and the Viper Bologna. Which is also pretty cool to see because you actually get almost a very similar cutting length or blade length, or I should say cutting edge. So that should give you a good comparison. So I've had this knife for a couple of months. I've used it for quite a bit. I would say in I don't know, the two and a half months that I've had it, or 3 months that I've had it, it's been in my pocket at least a few weeks. So I've had a lot of time to really play around with it, mess around with it. There's only a couple things that I would have liked to see be changed. But I'm not kidding when I tell you this is one of my favorite purchases of 2023. And I feel like a number of you guys might have missed this one. So if you've ever been on the fence with MKM or this model when you saw it, I would highly recommend you go out and grab it. It's a beautiful draw point blade, a little bit of a thicker belly. It is a Magna Cut steel. I believe I had mentioned that. It's just super comfortable in the hand. The only couple of things that I would like to have seen changed, one is aesthetic, and one is just for grip as a lefty. I have come to the conclusion that I can't really complain too much because everything is made for a right-hander. But as you can see, there's really not much of a contour here to try to dig in to get to the thumb hole, whereas you have it on the other side for a righty. I can still, once I get there, the action is extremely smooth, so I don't really have much of a problem in deploying it. Spidey flicking it is fine. The flipper tab, it's kind of crazy how small the flipper tab is. But they've positioned it perfectly because you really don't need to do much. I mean, that thing is going to pop right open. The only, I wouldn't even say a complaint because it doesn't really bother me that much. As you can see that liner lock, how far down it sticks out. Sometimes they're a little bit tighter, but also with this design, the double layer, when I pop it open, I can sometimes feel it grind against my finger here to close it. It's not much of a criticism because, like I said, this is absolutely one of my favorite knives of 2023. And I can't remember if I can open it. Yeah. Anytime I can open a knife like that, you know the action is very smooth. Like I said, this one's designed by Voxnaes. The ergonomics are great. Really does feel great in the hand. I've actually used this a couple times to start fires on short hiking trips. I've gone out purposely. I don't want to, act like I'm some big hiker that I spend a lot of time in the woods. But I purposely would bring, my camera, some lighting, and use this to scrape off some kindling and build a fire, and it's worked beautifully. No issues in the cold, no freezing, nothing like that. The only thing is, like I said, in deployment, I wish they would have really kept the same contours both on the show side as well as the blade side, excuse me, the lock side. Unfortunately, they didn't. Other than that, this knife has been a joy to work with. And here's the thing, and I know this might sound a little bit crazy to some of you, but when I have a Rosie in my hands, and I know there's a big difference in price point. If you guys haven't handled an Oz Roosevelt, one of the first things you realize is the weight. Not just the balance, but the overall weight. And I got the exact same feeling with this knife. And it hasn't left me. It feels incredible. The blade whips open. You're going to have a ton of fun using it. I really don't have much of a criticism about it. And like I said, you have a very large number of variations to choose from. I highly recommend checking this knife out. I really don't think you're going to be disappointed. Yeah, but that's it. Again, it's the MKM ECLIPSE, designed by Voxnaes. I highly recommend it.